There are some stories that don't just make headlines. They leave us questioning everything. This one began as a missing persons case. What followed was a complex and, more than anything, heartbreaking story. The town of Modesto, California, would be shaken by the tragic loss of Laci Peterson. In the next few minutes, we'll piece together the details of her disappearance and explore the questions surrounding her case. Laci Peterson was born on May 4th, 1975. In 1997, she married Scott Peterson, who she met while studying horticulture at Cal Poly. They settled in Modesto, California, and started building what seemed like an ideal life. By the end of 2002, they were expecting their first child, a baby boy they planned to name Connor. Laci was 8 months pregnant and ready to be a mom. But on the morning of December 24th, 2002, everything would change.
Scott leaves his house. He's on his way to his warehouse, which is located 3 miles from his house.
Checked my email, sent one email, then took the boat up and went to her place.
When he came home, she wasn't there. The dog was in the back with the leash attached.
The only unusual thing for the leash and the dog being she's at mom's.
Scott called Laci's mother around 5:15 p.m. to ask if she had seen her. By 6 p.m., the family reported her missing.
She's 8 months pregnant. She took her dog for a walk in the park. The dog came home with just a leash on.
The dog came back without your daughter?
Right.
Okay, what is your address, sister?
Well, I'm like,
Is that where she's...
so it's over at the Loma Park where she went on the walk. Now, Peter, the dog went over to find you.
What's your stepdaughter's name?
Scott Peterson?
No, your stepdaughter.
Laci Peterson.
Laci Peterson, E-R-S-O-N, right?
P-E-T-E-R-S-O-N.
Something about her disappearance felt deeply unsettling.
There was no evidence of forced entry into the house. There was no evidence of a struggle. There was no evidence of bloodshed or anything like that. She had plans for that afternoon, and then all of a sudden she was just gone.
Modesto police launched the search almost immediately. In the days following Laci's disappearance, Scott appeared to be the grieving husband, but behind the scenes, things were already starting to fall apart. Just 1 week after Laci vanished, Scott called his mistress, Amber Fry.
Scott told me he was not married. We did have a romantic relationship. When I discovered he was involved in the Laci Peterson disappearance case, I immediately contacted the Modesto Police Department. I am very sorry for Laci's family and the pain that this has caused them. And I pray for her safe return as well.
For months, the search continued with no confirmed leads. But on April 13th, 2003, the case took a devastating turn. A body, small, fragile, washed ashore in the San Francisco Bay. It was the partial remains of a fetus. 1 day later, a second body was discovered nearby. It was a woman, badly decomposed, missing her head, hands, and feet.
Craig Grogan received the call about the DNA results when we were coming back from San Diego. The bodies were both Laci and Connor. He told Scott. Very little reaction on Scott's part. And in my view, because he was the one who killed Laci, there's no reason for him to have a lot of emotion because he knew what the results were going to be.
4 days later, on April 18th, Scott was arrested in San Diego. He had dyed his hair blonde, grown a goatee, and was carrying $10,000 in cash, multiple cell phones, camping gear, and his brother's ID.
We started to worry that he might try to run.
Police worried he would run to Mexico.
The trial of Scott Peterson began in June 2004. The evidence was circumstantial. No murder weapon, no eyewitnesses. So how did prosecutors convince a jury that he was guilty?
They believed that Scott Peterson strangled or smothered Laci Peterson on the night of December 23rd or on the morning of the 24th, but they didn't know when it happened, and they argued they didn't have to prove when it happened. They only need to prove that it happened. They believed after that, when he went on what he called the fishing trip, he dumped the body in the San Francisco Bay. And his motivation would have been money, like life insurance money, and of course, the affair with Amber Fry.
In 2020, Scott's death sentence was overturned by the California Supreme Court. The reason? A juror's undisclosed past with domestic violence. Then, in 2024, the Los Angeles Innocence Project took up Scott's case, arguing that critical evidence had been overlooked or mishandled. They pointed to a burglary that occurred across the street from the Peterson home on the same day Laci disappeared. After his death row sentence at San Quentin was overturned, he is now serving life without the possibility of parole. But in March 2025, Peterson made headlines once again. While playing a game of pickleball at Mule Creek State Prison, he was attacked by a fellow inmate where he suffered minor injuries. Public opinion about Scott Peterson is somewhat divided. Some believe he murdered his wife to preserve his lifestyle and escape fatherhood. Others believe the system moved too quickly without enough evidence. And now with the Los Angeles Innocence Project involved, some wonder if this case might take another unexpected turn.